Faces there on the stream. So, hello Twitch. Can you fun people hear me? Just say, yes, we can hear you in chat. All right. You can see and hear me both. Then, let's get on with the code. So, what we're doing right now, last week we had a whole bunch of animation stuff that went in. Last week I was working on animation stuff. All of that's actually committed. It is live on Hatchery right now, the core system, and what we're doing today is just adding more stuff, building things using that system. Let's see. Let me see what I can do about that. Let's see. I'll check on dual audio input. Yes, I believe. So does that take care of all of our slight echoey problems? Okay, then I think we are, yeah, agony, thumbs up, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna dive in on the animation. Well, actually, just for those of you who aren't currently aren't in the internal test here, I'll just flip it over to Hatchery and start the game. And here we go. Oh no, that's not good. So the client crashed just there. I blame Scott. Scott probably changed something about the animations that make it sad. So. So I will be back in just a second. I just wrangle a couple of branches. As Scott's animation stuff gets rebuilt, what we are doing today mostly is, so I'll just go full screen on this. We've got this cool Google Sheet that's driving all of the animations. And Scott's just dynamically editing the Google Sheet, and that's pushing new stuff onto the patcher and into the client every time he makes changes. And this is one of those things that this is something that is really, really neat because what we found was that we had these fancy tools and what was really happening with the animators was you know, they were manually making all these Google Sheets like this to keep track of their animations and what, and then like painstakingly manually entering it into an editor that was taking a lot of work to maintain. So what ended up happening was we just said, all right, well, we're just going to have a Google Sheet that drives all the animations, and you know, they can do it there. So here we have a Google Sheet that drives all the animations, and hopefully there'll, you know, there won't be 2 copies of things, and we're going to spend a lot less time maintaining like a tool with a UI and everything than we have been. More importantly, the low-level system lets us do a lot of cool things like, you know, blending across different body parts and stuff. So anyway, let me see if I can actually run the game again now that Scott's made his little change. Come on. No crashes. No crashes. Okay, so the client's crashing, and I guess the first thing I'm going to do here is debug that. Right. Because it's probably something about the animations that's exploding. So we're good. Okay. And run the client. So while I wait for this build, how's everybody doing? I think this may turn into a stream of figuring out ways so that when Scott makes a typo in the spreadsheet, it won't crash the client. That's probably going to be one of the first orders of business here, which is not exactly what I planned on, but you know, it's exciting. And also have some music, because music is good. So how did I make the Visual Studio background transparent? That is it's just color key in OBS. So you know, I've got it set to the dark background, and then yeah, I just set that particular shade of dark gray to be transparent. Then, so by default, that you know, would just make it transparent. So then there's a 50% opacity solid blank rectangle layered into that. Too loud music. I fixed the music. Is better. Okay, well, as you can see, Visual Studio is unhappy with me, so think we're gonna have to just kill this off. And it's also not shutting down. So, oh, Microsoft, you never do make it easy, do you? Let's just run this in single player mode. And there we go. So we've got a crash. What's going on here? As you can see right here, this was very quickly getting things set up. What's happening is undoubtedly get clip ref returned 0 because we got a null reference there. So we failed to look up the clip, so we don't actually, so that way we won't actually create a thing that plays an idle clip if there's no idle clip found. Then I'm going to go over to this file here. Walker is the thing that plays character animation, so it blends everything together. So this is just really simple stuff. If we fail to get any of these clips, then first off, if we don't find the clip, then we just return null here. And on down. So that way, these little functions won't return null. What's going on here is there's little, these are functions that just get a walk run or walk in place animation, and It's one of those things like, you know, when someone is moving to the left and then they walk to the left or walk to the right, we actually kind of, as an intermediate point, we need a just animation of someone kind of shuffling their feet in place to use as a transition between them. So that's what the in place is. So anyway, these functions now will not crash, but they'll just return null, and we need to make sure that other stuff will also not crash. And I do believe the easiest way to make that happen is just to have extract clip over here. It actually extracts it to done. Although that's going to cause a little bit of weirdness, but it won't be horrible. So now we have a client that hopefully will not crash. Actually, one more thing I want to do. Clip player already does everything it needs to do. So let's run the game, and clip player is maybe like the single simplest little function in the animation code. It's all it does, just play a clip in a loop. And yes, I just turned down my music. So, Zedrid, to answer your question, wouldn't you want to generate some kind of notice if a clip is missing? Well, so that's a thing that we actually do back out here in the spreadsheet. You can see some of these things. When a clip is missing, it highlights the spreadsheet cell red. It would certainly be good to pass information back out in a pop-up window, although we don't necessarily have all the information we need about what the intention was. But so here's this guy, and that's now he's just kind of disappearing when he doesn't have his clip that he wants to play. Although he does have these. So it's a case of a missing run cycle, not a missing walk cycle. So let's look at what's going on here. So in theory, the default anim set is what we should be using here, but I think that's merging in the travel locomotion set. But the real problem that's going on here is that I think we are actually playing the combat locomotion set that only has these walk cycles in it. Yeah, so what we want to do is make sure we are playing this animation set of that is the default set that has all this stuff in it. So coincidentally, managing what the anim sets are is like at the top of my priority list for what we're going to do. Bump default anim set to the front because I knew this was going to be a thing. So, you know, here's kind of my great big to-do list on animation stuff, and yeah, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to bump that up, bump the priority of that to the very top and get busy on it. So let me open up another Visual Studio instance. I just have to actually go diving on to find the program, because for whatever reason an OBS and my start menu do not work at the same time. So here I am opening up the build server. And going to skeleton build. So this is a huge file that this is a huge process that does all the parsing and then like triggers off a bunch of things, but here we are in get build control string, which outputs just a command line for running our little native code tool that parses clips and stuff. And so order the animation sets by the key, which is just their name. Let's see, just order by. I always forget. Just order by. Let me. I need to pass in a comparer. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and do a bigger, more robust change on this, which is here in the skeleton we've got our clips and our animation sets in this definition of a skeleton. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rename the clips to in clips to distinguish them from the output clips. And that's a global change that'll just rename every reference to that. And then what I'm going to have is list of clip defs and list of anim set defs. And so what I'm going to do is have a slightly more complicated build process that's going to assemble in each of these a complete list of everything that we want to have. So, and that'll actually, kind of construct a meaningful order to them too. And I'm going to, here's my little list. I'm going to bump off all 4 of these top items at once by doing this. Though actually, before I do that, I should probably go back over here and commit a fix for that crash, so that other people aren't crashing, so that the plant won't explode because of Scott. So this is source tree. It's just a little front end to get, and what I'm doing is I'm reviewing the changes that you just saw me make. If not clip return, etc. And I'm going to commit those 3 files. And now I have pushed that change up to master, and the build pipeline is going to do its build pipeline thing, and that change will be on hatchery on the patcher in a few minutes. So back to this as I'm building out the out clips and out anim sets. So what's kind of interesting as far as where this is going to grow to is that right now all the clips that are going to go in this output list and all the anim sets are going to be from this skeleton, but ultimately we're going to end up importing clip defs and anim set defs from other skeletons. And so for that, so when we do that, what we're going to want to do is process, those won't actually go in the input ones. That'll just end up going into the output ones. So I'm designing this a little bit for future use. Let's see. So I've got similar functions for things like resolve anim set, and so adding a resolve skeleton, right now all that's going to do is just push that together into the output stuff. And so I'm going to start by just running through all of the anim sets and start off by putting anything in there that has tags on it. Then we're this is being a little bit lagtastic here. Basically, what I'm saying is, if this has already been processed, then don't process it a second time. Wow, this is... So, and here at the end, I'm just going to say, I'm always forgetting my link. It's where. I think like functional programmers, not SQL programmers. No. Also, it helps if I put this in here. Small detail. So everything that has tags in it is going to get inserted. And then if there are no tags, then we'll just insert the entire thing. So that takes care of my this item. Don't include tagless anim sets if there's at least one tagged anim set, and just anim sets, by the way, are this is just a package of animations. So, it's basically depending on the mode that your character is in, it will pick a different anim set to play. And an anim set might be, I am in this combat stance holding a shield and a sword, or I am in travel mode holding a bow, or any number of other things like that. So that's that's what an anim set is. So most things will have some kind of anim set. So anyway, if skill.anim set. So, and finally,
Tim and I had a similar conversation.
Then
And then copy and paste that into clipboard and paste that into.
if we still don't have any, what we're going to do is we're going to create one from scratch.
What? I don't think anybody's watching.
Hatchery is probably crashing because of an animation bug right now. I've committed a fix to Hatchery, and it is making its way through the build pipeline.
Okay, there you go. So where's the builder stage? That's why you gotta watch the stream, dude. I don't know, watch that stream. What? That's why you gotta watch the stream. Sorry, I'm working.
Nobody believes you.
Oh snap! There you go.
So anyway, skill.out.anim set stick. So here's what we need to do now is we need to create a new anim set def entirely from scratch. So
Make a website to display that information. Well, yeah. I mean, I just said this. Yeah.
and
So
what I've got, I'm looking at, here's my definition of an anim set def. So you can see, so I'm just going to initialize those all of these fields real quick to do something useful.
But for now, from yeah, because it's not a
Have our own skeleton.
I just care that something's going to the UI layer. Yeah. I mean, I made them larger than just the default size of the Sure. Real quick.
And actually, we're going to say skill dot. No reason to add an animation set if there are no actual animations. And just briefly, check the chat. Okay, so yeah, was I in combat stance? Right now, I was not in any stance, Zadrid. So an anim set is made of possibly an infinite number of clips, yes, and they all work by having various tags on them. So it's like this is the default one, and so like our weapon attack 1 is a clip, but it's in the anim set as with the tags attack, right, high, and slash. And what we're going to do is at runtime you know, your character is in a given anim set, and every server attack or everything you can do on the server has, you know, like this is a skill that is, you know, attack middle piercing or something, and so for your current anim set, the client will pick a clip to play based on the tags that are both in the anim set and then that come down from the server for the skill that you use. So that's kind of, the tags are the interface between the clips. So so that's how that works. Anyway, so Wolfspine, the idea is that the anim set itself represents a single state that you're in, and so, you know, the current, the state of your character, what you're wearing, what your skeleton is, blah blah blah. That's all determined by which anim set you're currently in. Which animations you do come from the anim set. And yeah, the animation is entirely client-side. It's one of those scalability things where we're not actually playing all of the animation on the server. The server just says, "Hey, play me an animation for attack a right high piercing attack or something," and the client will look in its anim set for the character's current state and pick one and play that. So, anyways, so what I'm going to do here, as far as just building out a default thing, and this is a little bit for later. So I'm going to just say,
no, I do that. I have conversations with people here in the office and go ahead and try to back and work. I haven't talked to them about the
so let's see, we need to construct
you know, one thing that
actually, this needs to be a fancier function.
Make it so that you hold it down, scroll across the button. Like highlight.
So what I'm using here is a lambda to merge all of this together, and
well, they should be programmed. Because people will change if you don't write. So whenever we do that, that's can I make that bar go?
and
There it goes. So like it's not on here. It'd be nice if we think of a slide. Remember how slide to the, but with one little button. It'd be kind of cool if there was just like a little. I really like all. Yeah, to the side. Yeah. Cool.
So that's a nice little link expression.
Much better than turn off the.
And just build out a thing with all the clips that are in there. Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit fancier. That's probably good enough. And then if we did not get any clips from using the tags, then we'll do the same thing without that filter.
Escape courses.
I gotta make sure we get rid of the thing that allows us to edit things.
And that way we definitely have some clips now. So first thing, if we had at least some clips that had tags on them, then we just insert all those clips. And yeah, and if there are no tags, then we just insert whatever clip was there. Scaled out anim sets. And finally, we put our new anim set in the list as the only one. So that gets us at least one anim set in the file. Now, kind of the next stage is we've got at least one. If we have any clips at all, we have at least one anim set. So we're going to build a complete list of all the clips. And to do that, I'm probably going to say and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over every anim set that we've put together in our output collection. And then for every clip in there, Actually, I'll just say
Why?
Oh, that actually is. That was the exact.
so that's going to add the complete set of clip definitions to this set, and then once we've got that, what we're going to say is in the
Is this where your target is?
Target
Target is whatever that is. That's where the action is.
oh, come on, there. And that will flatten that out into a list, which the nice thing about a list is that it's ordered. So I'm going to get rid of,
No, because right now if you just right click and move the camera, like nothing updates.
and what's going to happen from there is that then we just basically, that'll flatten that into the list, and all we have to do there is sort the list.
Oh, because you can do it in line too.
And
Same syntax, editor, okay.
so,
The top bar there.
actually, we also, so the reason I'm sorting this is so that the clips will always appear in the file in a certain order. It doesn't really, it'll be useful to pull certain things to the front, but the main thing is that we'll still produce the same file every time, which is important because our entire build pipeline, it says, hey, if this resource has the same MD5 as the last version, then we don't make a change on the patcher. So that's the single most important thing. So anyway, so we're going to want to sort things that have tags to the front. Actually, no, that's...
It's pretty simple.
I was really debating I could get a much better line.
What if I, just like put everything inside this way, like this?
I was thinking, I think I may actually want to sort the clips in each atom set first. So this is actually, I'm just going to put a to-do on this, and I will sort them later because that's not the most interesting thing in the world to do on this stream.
Yeah, like typically I would just bottom because I don't need very long lists of things. I need like a really body thing that was very small amount of information, so I thought it on the right size of boxes. It's good for object properties. If you're like trying to
And similarly,
Yeah. Well, it's just a matter of setting this up to be vertically aligned. Like this thing is this high up here. Like it's laid out like that. But I tend to lay out things like this.
Yeah.
Vertically, but all the. That's a bad example. You're a wizard at FBX mod.
why do you run this in Debugging?
Like this thing right here is set up here.
Why would you have it?
So actually, I'm going to go ahead and do this because this will make things easier on the client to just automatically pull the first one to be something that's got a default tag on it. So
Well, it's just like somebody's back to the task.
Yeah, you could just drop those in the top bar next to where it says tools. Great place for that. So, that big gray space right there.
Oh, put this crap up here.
It's buttons. So if you go to this copy,
so we're going to say
block item.
Block control. Install mode. Still over. Build. Show by check.
Show high check. Well, I guess it can hide it. It does hide it. If you click hide it, it patches the
No, it doesn't patch. No, it doesn't patch. It works. It just after it returns, it starts to channel.
so that just says, you know, sort things with tags ahead of things that don't have tags. Then within the set, if A does have tags, then B also will have tags. So
Sounds like I need to do that. I should never even mention that. Never done. What is it?
just gonna give this a default. Case insensitive string compare on the names will be the final thing to break any ties. So now the whole screen's not going to be lit up with errors and
Let's change the
and what that's going to do is anytime if one has a tag as default and the other one doesn't, then we will sort the one that does have the default tag to the head of the list, and then as a fallback we will just compare we'll just return sort them by name, and that's and that will ensure that default item set is always the first one in the file. Similarly, I'm just going to go
sounds to me like it's loading and then moving. You know, it's like drawing something before it's actually fidgets. Sure.
I'm going to use a very similar sorting on the clips within an item set. and so that'll just always pull idle stuff. So, you know, if you just grab the first animation out of the first what's wrong here? Yeah, there we are. They'll just put the clips in some kind of order, but the basic idea being that, you know, just play. The idle will always come first. The default will always come first, and so yeah, things will just playing the first thing out of the first thing will do something useful, which is going to make life a lot easier on the client. So now that I've actually imposed an order on the anim sets, and I've imposed an order on the clips within the anim sets, and then we don't actually need to put an order on, then that kind of implies an order for the clips themselves. What I'm going to do instead is going to go back to making this list and say, let's see, does add return a bool? Yes. So we're trying to add it to the clip set, and if it succeeds in doing the add, which means it was already there, then we know it was not in the list. So what's going to end up with this is outclips is going to be ordered by the order that things appear in the anim sets, and then, well, just if you go through all the anim sets in their order and then all the clips within the anim set, then they scale.outclips will contain. And so now what we've done, so yeah, doing that also will don't include excess clips that aren't in anim sets. Don't include tagless anim sets, so that's done. Always create one. So now I've accomplished all of these goals here, and all that's left to do is modify our output, modify the place where we actually output our build string to use this ordering that I've created, and also resolve things. And just to be on the safe side, make sure so what that's going to do is make sure that all the anim sets we're using have been fully resolved at the time that we resolve the skeleton, and they really already should have, but you know, we like to be safe. and that'll actually take care of doing the resolve for us. And so all that's left to do now is in get build control string. Now that everything is actually already resolved, I need to get rid of all of this stuff where we're just kind of picking an order. Because all of that stuff's done now. Similarly, get rid of actually we need to keep that one because that one's not on the skeleton. But we definitely don't need this clip ordering thing because we've totally got a what just happened? Yeah, things stalling out because of probably Visual Studio running slow because of I am also streaming. Clip name, don't even need this anymore. And yeah, so let's see, any other place in this function that Eclipse was being used? Nope. So we're doing everything from the order we've constructed. Similarly, don't need to do any kind of order by on this because already got the key in there because we already constructed the order. But we do actually need to build a clip ordering. Just so we can reference things. New dictionary, clip def to ints. And we'll say this should never happen, but and there we are. That should just make everything really, really nicely ordered and consistently ordered, and everything. So the first 4 items on my list bumped off. Make sure it all compiles, and all right, I will catch up on chat while I do this. Yeah, animation will be client side. That's right. The server's not plain animations on the server. The server just, you know, if I kind of describe to Scott, like, this, as far as the server is concerned, this is the player. It's just, you know, it's just a cylinder that moves around in the world and has some kind of facing on it, and that's all the server knows about players. Animations are entirely a client-side effect. Now, animation duration is not exactly on the server side. What is on the server side is skill duration. You know, what's the warm-up time for, you know, what's the prep time to get to the hit phase of an attack, for instance. How long does the total skill last? And what the client's going to be doing is it's going to be stretching and shrinking. It's going to be coming down from the server of like, hey, you know, do this skill and it has a prep time of 300 milliseconds and then a hit and it's got a 250 millisecond recovery. And what the client is going to do is, and you know, all of that comes down from the server to the client, and that you know, when that comes down from the server to the client, that's driven by all sorts of things. The skill that you've crafted by putting various runes together, it's going to be affected by the buffs and debuffs on you, it's going to be affected by your strength, your dexterity. All of the timing stuff is going to be driven by a billion gameplay related things. And so that'll just come, and it will be dynamic. It won't be a thing that we predicted. So the client is going to say, hey, I have a skill that and the actual hit occurs 327 milliseconds after it starts. And so the client is going to stretch and shrink the animation durations to play things slower or faster to get us to playing those things at the time that they should actually occur. And that's where the lag compensation happens, because the client will, the client shifts the times a little bit depending on the lag. But the key thing for the client is, when does the actual hit occur? When does, how long does the recovery take? And so it's tweaking the playback speed of the animations to hit those exact marks. So that's how it all works. Yeah, Wolfspine covered the question mark. It's a C# 5 or 6 level thing. They've added I think C# 6 added especially a lot of really simple, really nice convenience things. So anyway, all of this stuff actually worked. Yeah. By the way, Zadrid, all the build server stuff is 100% is C# for the most part. There's a small thing that the thing that actually reads in the FBX files, which is what we export from 3D Studio and Maya, and then actually builds raw binary data for the client, is C++, just because the F# SD or the FBX SDK is native code. Most of our build process is C#, just because C# is more it's faster to be productive, and it's a lot better for interfacing with databases and stuff. So that's do you not worry about the garbage collection on the server? We do, but the main thing about the garbage collection on the server is it's on the server. So our entire networking stack is designed around, just you're talking to this thing over the public internet. And so what happens there is that, at any point, you're someone downstairs started watching something on Netflix, someone, like something at a data center just got a switch got overloaded. There's going to be random spikes of lag and latency that happen just because the server is over a public internet connection from you. And so the client has to be built to compensate for all of those kinds of just like spikes and lags and delays. So if the server gets, an extra 30 milliseconds or whatever of lag because a garbage collection ran, then the client has to handle that, but the client has to handle that in general. It doesn't matter whether it's because of garbage collection or, because a switch at your ISP got overloaded. It's just a thing the client uses its prediction and interpolation and extrapolation and lag compensation to make up for. So yeah, that's it's a thing we worry about, but the solution to garbage collection on the server is the same as just the solution to having a server that's, you're connecting to over the public internet. And I would love to talk about F#, but my build is done, so what I'm going to do now is, you'll notice that I've not actually tested any of this code. Part of the fun of being at a smaller studio like this is that I am just gonna grab the files right out of my personal output directory here, copy and paste them, go over to the build server here that I'm remote desktoped in, kill the build server process, paste these new binaries that I just built into the running directory on the build server, start the build server back up, and so I just deployed a new build server without actually testing it locally on my machine. Let's see how it works.
It'll be fine.
So yeah, here's our spreadsheet, and what should be happening is that in the end, what all this is going to add up to is that this default set will be loaded into, will appear ahead of combat locomotion. So hopefully everything will play nice. And I'll give this a couple seconds now. The thing I am in particular looking at is right here. So I'm waiting to get new data from the output of the build showing up on the patcher. So I'm going to grab a drink real quick, and then while I wait on that, I will rant about F# and game development. So, see that magic? So, yeah. Anyway, we got new data from the patcher. I like how all of this. And by the way, this is hatchery. So anyone with IT, you know, when I just like built a new build server and copied and pasted that onto our build box without even running it, yeah, that pushed data all the way out to your computer on hatchery. So balls of steel here.
Do it.
So what we should be getting is client, because the client doesn't know anything about anim sets yet. Before they were getting sorted alphabetically. Now the one that's tagged as, actually this isn't going to do, this is not going to do what I wanted at all, because we're still going to be using combat, because if I look over here, I forgot to actually put the default tag on the default anim set. It was named default, but it did not have a default tag. So now I changed that, and now I'm going to go back to my editor and say build again, and that'll trigger off a build on the build box, and we will get, and we'll just keep an eye on this to see how long until we get new assets from the patcher. I would like to spend a little time to optimize that flow. This used to be, you know, the time from when the build server finished to when it was on the patcher used to be like on the order of like 10 to 30 seconds, and it's crept up as the number of assets in the game has crept up. But we, you know, so I'd like to figure out why and get that back down. That would certainly make our development a little nicer. So F# in functional programming. I love F#. F# is my favoriteest programming language in the entire world. You know, I like everything about it. If it were entirely up to me, yeah, I would probably do all of the build pipeline at least in F#, because, oh my god, just constructing like little flows of data from one place to another, it's just so nice. But you know, and if I were a completely indie game dev, I would probably be, you know, I'd probably be doing some stuff in F#. That said, there are downsides to it. Functional programming does mean that, you know, you are generally producing more temp objects, as you know, because you never modify things in place. So, you know, sometimes when you really need to tune performance, it's less than optimal. But you know, that's a thing you live with. But the main we actually, some of y'all will remember there was this little game called Smackhammer that was built out of March on Oz assets, and it was our first server. That entire server was written in F# because at the time City State was much smaller, and you know, all three programmers had some familiarity with F#. And as we got larger and larger, our ability to, you know, just hire people who could step in and become productive was also a big consideration. So, you know, although, you know, it could be that if, you know, even though it's possible that if we had gone full F#, we would have had fewer programmers, but the people we did hire really wanted to be here because, you know, they had the Kool-Aid and wanted more. So, so anyway, fire up our new build and see what we got. So yeah, now that I added that default tag, the default anim set is in fact the one at the top of the list, and that's the one that's playing for everything. So we are getting what we want. I do not know where his ankle is. It appears that everyone is missing their left ankle. That's,
That
that's-
one didn't make it.
oh, this guy has his left ankle.
Animation bugs.
Oh wait, no, he's missing his left. Everyone in the game is missing their left ankle.
Ship it. The first
So-
left ankleless game.
This is a bug that I will probably debug after the stream. Does that happen with everything? Does that happen no matter what I'm wearing? Change my boots. Yep, that boot's missing my left ankle. Medium boots. Oh, do you see it briefly popped in?
Nice.
Okay, the pants just hit everything. We're not going to wear pants today. Pants was a bad idea.
But this is just man. Oh no. How do you make it so bad? Yeah. How do
So this naked dude's got all of his stuff. So clearly the clothes that we attach to the character by default are fine, but all right, this is gonna take a little debugging. We'll work it out. But anyway, so
well, the other way home? The other way would be that
I can go over to my little to-do list and cross off
Arthurian armor in the chest.
these four
And so it's a
things.
Look up and says, what race am I? What gender am I? Oh, use this one. And we can say four numbers. So, you know, just something like that. Yeah, real quick.
So yeah, so now what we're gonna do is we will move on through my little to-do list, and I'm gonna work on supporting more than one anim set on the client. Also, I'm going to. I love this album, but
Yeah, theoretically,
can't find the thing that makes it loop.
have to look up.
So we're gonna have some slightly different music. So if this music is too loud, scream in the chat. This is a band called Barrows. They're a little post-rock band out of LA, and they are awesome. When we make our city-state space game, I'm still getting them to do our soundtrack. Don't tell them. It'll be a surprise. All right, so yeah, jumping in, we're going to support more than one animation set in the client. And what that means, actually, let me, I'm going to talk with Scott real quick and ask Scott if, how long until he thinks he's going to get more than one animation set for me to play with. And if he's not going to do that for a while, I'll bump that priority to sometime tomorrow. More than one set up like we want to do, you know, like sword and shield versus unarmed versus
One with 3 tests.
Yeah.
Should I add that to the lead sheet right now, or should I start the second sheet? Just start
when you say big sheet,
just the one sheet that's on.
like you can add more sheets to the document.
Yeah, is that attached?
Yeah, they're all it flattens them all out. It doesn't care. Like everything, you know, just everything in the hatchery animations workbook is add as many sheets as you want to organize it. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Okay. That'd be awesome. Like a two-handed weapon thing, and two-handed equipped and short sword and shield. That one is like, let's say one two-handed, one two-handed, one empty-handed. Okay, awesome.
15 max.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I stand corrected. Scott sounds like he's going to have sheets for several of them all set up very, very soon. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that. Snowing on my clan be huge. So we are hoping that Scott will get a couple different anim sets all set up for me soon, and so what I'm gonna do is start setting the client up to switch between more than one anim set. See, everyone's liking this animation of holding a sword, but so back to Visual Studio. Actually, let me push the changes that I've made up so that they're part of the build server. They're not going to break anything. I mean, I've already deployed this build server. Pull, then push. Other people are making changes too. yay. So, also in the excitement, Mark Hernandez has just finally ripped out OpenSSL and replaced it with LibreSSL. We started the game, we started development before all the horrible OpenSSL things like Heartbleed came out. And, you know, then getting rid of OpenSSL was always, yeah, we need to do that, but we also need buildings and we also need swords, and it's always kind of sitting at the back of the queue. But you know, here we are, you know, as we are closing in on beta. Ta-da! There we are, because we weren't going to go to beta with OpenSSL. We knew that would be really bad. So finally got rid of OpenSSL. Yay. So back to the client. So here is pose generator, and that is the thing that drives all the stuff around. It's kind of every animatable model has a pose generator, and the way it works is that we attach some little set of bone movers to it, and a bone mover is just the thing that applies distortion to the bones on your character. One of those distortions would be playing a clip that Scott made or Sandra made. There will probably be a few others that, you know, do things like point your head at your attacker. But anyway, what I'm going to do in here is the skeleton is constant, and what's going to happen there is I'm going to initially just say so that'll initialize it. Actually, we don't even need that. Skeleton data is actually like an absolutely raw resource format. Like the output of the build system is this. This data gets loaded directly off disk, and we just treat that raw set of bytes as one of these structures. And number of bones, number of connectors, number of clips, blah blah blah, and then we get down here, and the anim sets is actually, you can see it's just applies the offset and returns that. So that adds a lot of convenience to getting just a blob of data off of disk. So that's a trick I totally ripped off from Valve when I was working on one of the first Source Engine games outside of Half-Life 2. But it's like, hey, that makes code clean and neat. So anyway, here we are. Anim set gets to set to something by default. Then on Bone Mover, the various little. This is our interface to things that modify bones. I say update, add a new virtual function to Bone Mover, and say set data. Actually, I'll pull this down inside the protected stuff with set new poser. You can see I'm just trying to make keep this interface consistent. Oh no! No! So Prophet, what the fuck? Yes, every step is closing in on beta, but we have a clear path to it. We're not announcing dates because we have proof that we are not awesome at hitting our dates, but you know, you can see the progress we are making towards this. It's definitely getting to the adding more and more features, not just adding big system. You know, adding specific leafy features, not adding big systems like skills. We are back in Visual Studio land. And let's see how much of that we actually got to keep. Okay, so Bone Mover kept the changes I made. Really? Really?
Again? It really does not like whatever. I'm helping!
Okay, so apparently just doing a text search through the entire project is not a thing that is safe to do.
Well, there's a lot of text. I don't know.
Now we wait for everything to load. Are you not entertained? I'm definitely not entertained.
First time was funny. It's not funny anymore.
So just adding this little set new poser. Set new anim set. No. And yes. And the default bone mover is not going to do anything at all with that. We're going to get to some other stuff before much longer, though. So then we're going to do. So post generator itself is going to need a. Implement that. And I'm just going to loop through and that's all that there's going to be to that. I'll just call post generator set an anim set, and at some point in the future I'm going to add like transition clips of say transition from your combat stance to your idle stance, for instance, and and so at that point we'll actually play an animation of you sheathing your weapon. So I'll add in like a play a transition animation, and what I would do in this little section here is just in here I would add a new clip player with a really high priority that would play over top of all your other bone movers that would play like a transition from one anim set to another. But we don't have transition animations really set up yet, so I'm not gonna do that. But I will, however, add in a so yeah, that's note to self. All the places where I was calling set new poser. Yeah, that's still saying it doesn't like us. Okay, so now what I've done is all the, there is a concept of what's the current animation set, and, we notify the things that play clips when we change that. So let's take a look at our clip flare. So what this is a really simple clip flare. All it does is just play one clip over and over in a loop. But what we really want is some combination of tags for what clip to play. And so I'm going to skip out of this for 1 second and go to the actual anim set, which has a bunch of various accessors and things on it for get clip refs and such. And clip ref is just clip index and tags, and I think we can add to this and I suspect Scott's going to add more than, so I'll take that up to 7 tags. That'll maintain a data structure that is a multiple of 4 bytes in size, because we like doing that. Because that clip index is 2 bytes, 2 bytes, number of tags is 1 byte, which takes us to 5. Yeah, so we're at 12 bytes, and that's and yeah, by changing this, I did just drastically change the actual data structure of the skeleton. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to need to actually output that probability number as part of the skeleton. So I'm going to need all new set of skeleton files and animation files. Which means I'm going to live deploy another build server, because,
Because we can do that, we have to take
I am reckless like that. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a change to write the probability in there. Let's see.
Well, it's not exactly.
Clips themselves don't get probabilities, but come on.
That's why.
Alright, so write the probability of the clip into the file, then we write all the tags. So I just added a little thing to write that out, and then I'm going to switch over to our FBX builder. Go to the skeleton, build skeleton code, and now we're in C++ land.
White. No. Yes.
I don't know if you can hear this, but someone added a thing to the game editor that has dark text on a white background. I don't think I've ever heard this level of contempt in Ben's voice.
That's like instant hate.
Be like, oh, yeah, the editor's crashing and I can't work, but, whenever you can get to it. And he's just like, It's white.
You have this amazing editor. You've been waiting for this for a long time. It does everything that you need. It's white.
Ben cannot cope with white text with a white dark text on a white background. I've never heard him get this upset about an editor feature. Like it could crash. Like the editor erased my whole hard drive, but that's okay. No, it's white. All right, I'm gonna stop laughing at game developers. I am one. Okay, so here we are in reading in our anim set, and this is exactly the parallel of the data that you just saw over on the C# build server that writes it out, except it helps if we're gonna have the if we declare the variable that we're reading it to. So this data structure is. So we need to also include that. So we read that in, and then we just write it out. Wow, everything is getting lagtastic.
$6 piece for this website. Yeah, we'll do all these. Whoa, look, here. So there's
So just clamp that value into.
Hey, how's lunch?
Edible.
Wasn't asking you. I don't care about you. I'm asking her. Nice. Wow.
Okay, so that'll include a probability value on all the clips, and there's a bunch of other code that ensures that's 1, I believe.
Will I be able to interrupt your stream to sing
Yeah.
Dion?
We're gonna sing to Dion. It's Dion's birthday, so I'm gonna point the camera over at Dion land.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
haven't talked about it. Were any of the guys from last year there? Dancing guy?
Let's see.
Yeah. Cool. He's a good guy.
So yeah, I hope you guys are ready to sing Happy Birthday to Dion.
I'm glad the shake guy was there.
There's a good way in here to open up the files at the same time. I guess it's multi-page.
Right.
Yeah, you probably open it.
Was it about the same size, smaller? Not
Wait,
shake.
I think Tim disappeared.
So you just
Oh,
open
no.
it.
Probably went to the bathroom.
No. Not him. The computer.
Give it 2 more minutes. Or wait for Tim.
Amen.
So you heard Tyler. Tyler, the spoiler of fun, says we have to wait 2 minutes for Tim to stop peeing, or whatever Tim's up to. In the meantime, I'm just gonna double, triple check that probability.
So get rid of the white.
Yeah, it was
Well, it's probably that
Like that.
You don't need the sidekick.
Getting fruits. Do it.
I guess it wouldn't let me save it because they misspelled somehow.
Yep. So if you didn't set probability,
I didn't like the stereosity.
It is.
oh, change it back to code cam.
Spell that.
It probably doesn't have like a Visual Studio where it's be like find in all files.
So yeah, if you did not set a probability, then
Right, that was one of the reasons I actually didn't check this.
we actually then we defaulted to a probability of 1. And I'm gonna
Searching files.
so Scott's continuing to build out this giant file today.
Okay, we're gonna sing happy birthday.
Right, hold on just a second.
We have to sing a song.
All right, Dion singing time.
We'll do it by Andrew's computer.
I'm gonna put it over here.
Yeah, we'll make
Or
it
they're all just gonna look at our backs.
She lives for that.
Here, we'll do it right.
Right in front of the camera?
Out in the chair.
Yeah. Wait, where's the hat? Oh yeah, where's the hat? You need the hat. You have to wear the hat.
Yay!
I know it's all my fault.
I thought we're doing it over here.
No, they're cameras looking this
we're
way.
there.
You guys aren't on the cameras.
Yeah, over here.
Yeah.
Especially Rob when we got power.
Yeah, it's perfect. Especially Tim blocking.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, this morning drops. I was like, Rob, why are you wearing a red boa? I said, red for head. And I said, head. Does he like you in a boa?
Both in and out.
Alright, here we go. Yeah, we do. There you go. Alright. 1, 2, 3.
Happy
That was weak, John. I hope it was.
Thanks all. We'll go back to your regularly scheduled program.
Is chat singing and Twitch song and dance?
Yeah, make the build work, Mark. Doing it.
Here we are.
Everybody on the stream says happy birthday.
Well, I made a number, and that was cool. I had a good time with that. I'm trying to make it work.
They want to know when, Dion, they want to know when your birthday is entering beta.
What?
They want to know when your birthday is beta.
Here's 3 things it does. No. It generates a project, and that's cool. And it can generate a huge number of options.
So, have y'all thought about using Google Authenticator on logins? Yes. Yes, we have. You know, it's always a balance of engineering time. You know, it's not like there's an extra engineer who's going to implement Google Authenticator while we're doing all the other things. So, you know, we would like to. At some point we will. That probably, I don't have any ETA, but Google Authenticator would be really nice. And, you know, we may do something like, once we put it in, give store points to everyone who enables it or something, just to, like, incentivize that, because we certainly want people to be secure.
Damn, more!
Sorry.
Oh!
I just had to fix a bunch of shit and it made me mad.
He had to do work, and it just pissed
I had to do work that I shouldn't have had to have done.
Yo, dog, I heard you like work, so I made you work while you work.
Okay. So back to code camp.
No! No, go, go! And also my filter just gone.
We'll talk about
Actually, I'm gonna go get an eclair, and I'm going to eat it in front of all of you.
Oh, right.
I failed. I was totally going to eat an eclair in front of you, but then Mark hijacked me to talk about junior programming candidates.
Rude.
Yay, new programmer.
Or do we want
Gabe is very excited about hiring new programmers, so he's not the newest guy anymore.
Game's like, who else can do ops?
Because there's a certain amount of just build and ops wrangling that low guy on the totem pole gets to wrangle. So anyway, clips.count. So I'm pretty confident. I mean, this was a very, very simple change to the data formats, at least.
So maybe the question that comes, when Garrett comes back, is he higher on the totem pole of seniority? Because he's been here taking
Well, it's kind of a weird situation.
No, no.
He's still an intern.
He goes
well,
to
no,
the
he's not
bottom.
going to be an intern. He's going to actually get hired this summer. Let's come back.
Well, he'll still be the newest hire then.
Yeah.
There's no way he comes out of this well. He might have more seniority than a junior or senior. We might be higher.
Okay, so I'm going to commit these file changes that now include a probability value in the data structure, and I'm just going to push that through the build. So what's going to happen when I do this is
That's the whole editor.
what's going to happen when I do this is that the code on the patcher is going to and the data structures on the patcher are going to be slightly out of sync until everything finishes building. So there will be a brief moment of client crashes until things recover. So if you're on Hatchery, bear with me on that.
Giant was able to find company it would just look long. So
Hey, Paul,
have to make a
Yeah.
separate.
did you reboot Bill?
Now for that same reason.
No,
you
Andrew
have
did.
to have a female
What happened to it?
female number.
It rebooted?
Like the machine
Oh, the
rebooted?
machine reboot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does
Oh,
that every
no,
once
I
in a
did
while.
not do that.
It's a jerk. Sometimes it just reboots. I blame Windows.
Yeah, so our build server just rebooted itself. The whole server. That's,
That's how it
yeah,
rolls.
I blame Windows too. We all blame Windows.
I blame doors.
Items to be display based
God, who took it from me?
Quick, somebody else take it.
On it.
I'll play this game all day.
Instead of working, that's all.
No, it's working.
To clarify, effort is being exerted.
The boss has been alert. The boss has been alerted to our chicanery.
Bullshittery.
It's not my chicken.
Okay, so I'm pushing the starts of these changes up.
So it's an add-on edit.
Yeah, this stuff's all fine too.
There's something Matt found.
So I'm just pushing all this code. That code's gonna be innocuous until we actually do something with it. So pull and rebase, then push.
Transparent. No, it works. We'll see.
And then I'm going to go build a new build server and deploy a new build server and go yell at all the programmers.
Probably.
Cool. So Scott was telling me that I've got new anim sets actually set up. So I'm gonna yell at all the programmers. Hey everybody! I've committed a change that changes the skeleton data format. So if you pull latest code, you will crash until we get new assets onto the patcher.
It's okay, your server won't run.
What about the clip crash I did?
It's fine because the client's not building anyways.
This story is.
We're more professional than this.
Most days we're more professional than this.
Most days Andrew is more professional than that. I assume that are they Jin?
Okay, so right now I am building building a new build server. Once it's done,
Oh,
I'm going to deploy a new build server.
whoever build server is freaking out right now for some reason again.
Freaking out with memory.
No, something is sending it a gazillion build messages.
Not it.
Who's got build server open?
I do.
Can you please shut down build server?
Oh, good God.
It's fucked up, y'all.
Is the problem build server, or is the problem that something is spamming build server with commands to rebuild constantly?
It's throwing a shit ton of exceptions on build server.
It's accepting like a mother in Google Sheet.
Does it not have permissions? Does it restart it or something?
No,
That's the login.
no, it
You
will
can
log
take-
itself in.
You can take it if you need it.
Yeah,
I
I'm-
have the knowledge of stuff like
I am about to hijack build server.
Okay, go ahead.
You could just be more specific about it.
So yeah, things are exciting now.
Or maybe wouldn't I just like a Jin then?
What are these exceptions about?
That means
It says ignore everything that's inside it.
Okay, yeah, it's looking like whatever made the build server reboot then turned everything bad. Because the problem there is that it's not authenticating to pull down Google Sheets. anymore. So, as soon as I build a new build server, I will deploy a new build server, and then I have no idea why my actual build here has stalled out. Okay, now it's done. So over to the build server, killed that, and so let's see if new build server actually does its thing right. Yeah, and that time it successfully did connect to Google Sheets, so I'm not sure what just went wrong, but we're now building the human male skeleton, and a bunch of other assets that don't build quite the way we would like, but fundamentally it did in fact build things. So here we are at 458.55 for the last update time, and once that comes up, we will have skeleton assets that were built with a proper anim set ID. Actually,
and it had books in the Windows files. And it was like whole pretty files, pretty folders, and everything like categories. They threw their entire hierarchy or to
so yeah,
or if you're on a laptop, it's that like
so I'll continue working on this. Nope. And now we have new skeleton data. Well, hopefully we have new skeleton data. We also have a new client that's coming out that will work with the new skeleton data. They may be a little out of sync. This is, the joy of hatchery. We would make sure all these changes migrated as a batch to, public servers. This is why game servers have downtime and stuff like that. So, anyway, back into client land. We've got these clip defs that now have more than one, that now have a probability in there. And I'm going to expand out on this get clip ref function. That just, right now, it just looks for something that exactly matches the clip tags that you pass in. I'm going to make this more, just a little more robust.
But that, I mean, that's how it works. Yeah. Hey, I hope you brought it. You put it in the right place. Just simple.
So here's this function that and what it does is it gets a clip ref that exactly matches the tags you passed in. So if you passed in, say, just idle, it would look for one that said idle on it. So what I'm going to do is so small vector is a little like, it's like a standard vector in C++, but it sort of embeds a little mini array and it only allocates memory if you overflow that array. We probably won't have more than 10 things to pick between. And then it's lying. It has the right number of arguments. So what I'm doing here is building a list of everything that matched, and I swear I know how to indent things. So now we've got at least one result clip. So if there's exactly one, then just return. Don't do anything fancy. Otherwise, what we want to do is
Well, yeah, he's going against.
and here's another case of if the total probability is 0, then and what that does is it just, if the total probability is 0, then we yeah, that means everything had a weight of 0, so return return the number of clips we've got. Now, this is the last one when, alright, so we've got weights on there. So this will give us a number from 0 to the to 1 less than the total probability, and so what we're going to do is we're going to subtract that like each one has a probability. So say the probabilities are 2, 2, and 1. So the total probability is going to be 5. We'll get a random number that is between 0 and 4, and we'll just step through that and say the random number is 4. So the first time you'll say, well, this has a probability of 2, so nope, don't return this and subtract that off. And so then we've got a rand threshold of 3 left. Second one has a probability of 2, we subtract that off. And you're left with a rand threshold of 0. And the third one we come in, the total its probability is 1, 1's greater than 0, so we return that one. And just to make sure, should do. By the way, now let me just check the build. Who's been breaking the build?
There's one that's here. Should I do it? And the first
He says sky.
Okay, so yeah, this is definitely Mark's SSL stuff breaking the build.
Not anymore. My shit's built.
So hopefully we'll get a clean build in a second. What's this nonsense? Oh, small vector's not defined. So I'm just going to add it to this entire... oh, we're in CSU till... there. Now this file should be happy.
Gee, fuck you, Brittany.
So we've got this one that just searches for an exact match on the clips. But I want something that's a little more flexible than this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first off, I'm just going to I guess this has to go in here.
Okay, I think the computer guy for Seattle we're talking about. Okay. You probably shouldn't bring on a junior guy to get an office.
By the way, the really loud person you hear in the background is Brittany.
How much space does it need? Not a cat. Does he need a desk?
Brittany appears as our video-based overlord all day, and listens in and yells at us when we do bad things. So that's what we hired her to do, to be the responsible adult.
just spends all day driving from house to house. That's good.
And she's pretty good at being the responsible adult, more so than me.
The location is going to be good. And the time will be
All right, so I'm gonna catch up with chat for chat real quick. So does Co Carnage have anything to do with the game? Not personally. He's just a Dark Age player who you know, has been talking with us for a while, and he's excited about the game. So we have talked about some partnership with him on you know, him doing some streaming of the game once the game is in beta, but there's nothing in an official capacity. Let's see. So the build server is basically the patch server. So it's not quite. The build server and the patch server are two different machines. The build server processes all of our data into some raw binary blobs, and then pushes those blobs into a big fat, pushes those blobs into MongoDB store, and then the patch server gets a notification through our internal messaging system that, hey, there's a new build available, and so then the patch server pulls new blobs out of the database and sends them down to your client. So they're not the same thing, but we try and have the pipeline between them as fast and efficient as possible. So, you know, it seems like they're the same machine. It seems like they're the same thing because data flows between them fairly quickly. So that's how that works. Let's see. It's Burns Night? Oh. I'm gonna have to, like, grind up the insides of some animals and eat them. Alright, no, MJ is not a responsible adult. MJ is our fearless leader, but with great fearlessness comes greater responsibility sometimes. And to put it bluntly, completely reasonable people do not start their own MMO studio. It takes a certain amount of unreasonableness to decide you're going to try and do what we're doing here. So that's how we roll.
I think you're looking at the other word you're looking for, Andrew, is 3 letters, BSC. You have to be a little bit that to do what we're doing. Everyone here.
Yeah. So, anyway, back to the code. Here's our code cam.
Oh yeah, I added 2 more.
Just making a little weighted clip tag structure.
Basic config.
So what I'm going to do is provide a way to gather together, like scan through and get me all the clips that you know, fulfill some combination of things. Like, you know, prefer something that does or does not have this instead of only looking for an exact match.
You're having way too much fun down here, so I figured I'll come in.
And we'll give it.
I'm not here. Oh, see, now you're leaving. Well, you fucked up all our fun.
Oh wait, he was gonna join in.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mark makes Tyler kill a fun, and then he can be the fun guy.
Run down there. What's going on?
Should we get to work?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I just sat down. Repeat after me, Mark. You're not the boss of me.
This is like the most madcap day that we have had here, I'm pretty
Even though
sure.
the build completed, it didn't put it out to the patcher, by the way.
I have no control of that.
Just saying.
I don't care.
It's still your fault.
My part's done.
I forget.
Like a poop in a bag.
Sure, that was fine. No, obviously we're not hiring anyone today. This is just the beginning of the process.
Yeah.
You know, he's got to
Okay.
get through me, then he's got to get through then he's got to get through programmers, then he's got to get through test, and then he gets through, you know, Andrew, and then probably George is going to be out on the West
Let's
Coast.
see, const clip ref, get clip ref, and
Boy, that's one of the most intelligent things he said.
got some weighted clip tags in here. And
So yeah, don't worry. It's not even going to get. This is going to
go over here.
Because if you can't even get past the basic personality test, then there's no point in going any further.
And I'm guessing the other one,
I don't.
send a build updated message is the top one. I assume that's what that is.
Well, and you guys, and that's why you go through the same, you know, you go through the program.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rebuild the thing where before we would just look for something that was an exact fit. Now I'm going to look for something that's a weighted fit, and there might be various things that could happen. So
then we're going to have tests, then it'll get through the tests, which I don't think they all will, like they usually don't. You know, then we'll have another division. So, also, it's a process. It's
so
no, but usually what happens is I would be the first, or Andrew and I would screen, like we work through senior people right away. But the last thing I want to do is one stand on the junior guys. It might not even test the personality, right? If they can't get through my interview, there's no point in moving on to the next stage. And so they take Andrew. Yeah, and then so the next is so we switch from junior guys, then we can pass them on, you know, to other, you know, programmers. So once again, we don't have to take Andrew. Yeah, it's a really good way, you know, of making sure that, you know, any of the senior guys, especially your senior guys out there, are spending time on design which should, frankly, even get through a program. So, you know, yeah. Nope. Yeah, I know. The last update I got was the same one I told you about on Friday. Like you say, still waiting for the landlord.
So what I'm doing is I'm just scanning through the both sets of tags. You know, we've got the clip ref, which is just, you know, this is a clip in a clip like this in the animation set, and then what we're looking for is, and then, you know, there's some input ones, and I'm looking for the ones that match. And clip tags equals
but yeah, as soon as I know, you usually know.
It says it uploaded everything.
Like,
I just sent to build updated message. It just,
Huh?
I said I just sent to build updated
Then
oh, there's nothing to do with that.
You would build.
Absolutely nothing. If I heard, I would let you know.
Wait, build updated message.
That updated. So, plus I want it.
so we're just accumulating priorities here.
Force the patch server to patch. To
Oh.
rebuild.
Okay.
That's different. We shut off Builder, didn't we?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sorry. So I was.
now, if the match quality is greater than the best match that we've got,
So the
then
database may not have been that could be an issue.
Or maybe that hasn't been working.
Or it has never
Sorry.
worked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have been having issues where it just seems like it never happened, like it never updates.
You're having issues with relay servers.
Or it could be relay server.
Oh, okay.
There's many places where I see that. Also, it doesn't have my stuff.
Well, or many. You can blame that.
Yep, I submitted it.
actually I'm going to say
You gotta hit it back to the works on my machine.
Yeah,
But
really.
it doesn't work on this machine.
Hashtag works on my machine.
No, it's
Somebody's got a
this
trademark,
client
right?
still built at 1530.
so we're going to be able to specify a minimum quality on our match.
no.
Right.
Not moving things backwards.
Where did Bolt?
Like,
Yeah, no. The client is still billed 4522, which is at 3:30 p.m. So it did not do it. So it was 45:30, which is the one. Yeah. So we don't. Well,
So I'm not sure if what I'm doing here makes sense, but so we're saying what's ultimately going to happen is you're going to have like a you have something like this.
That's weird though, because Patrick shows you got updated at 5.
I do have an update of 523. But the client.
Yeah, it's usually the previous one.
So you had an
That does too have that many. So if I did this, then I could say and what that would do is everything that, we'd go through our list of tags on each clip in the animation set, and everything, and we'd start off with, and we'd say if it has idle on, if the clip is tagged with idle, give it +10. If it's tagged with fidget, give it -1. So we could then say that, so what you'd end up with is anything that was idle would get a rank of 10, everything that was fidget would get a rank of -1, everything that was idle and fidget would get a rank of 9. And I'm saying give me stuff with a minimum quality of 10. And so that would just give me all the clip refs that were tagged as idle but not as fidgets, if, for instance, I wanted to do something like that. So that's how that would work. And
okay, cool.
What it used to say.
What's up?
The other one does the same thing. So the directory database, after it finishes uploading stuff with the directory database, it sends a So
I'm just going to pull that in there. Things will run slightly faster.
now it just now it should
And then our ability to select a result clip is going to stay the same. So what I'm actually going to do is and then write a little static helper function.
Pick one of them and
So now that I've made this little helper function, I'll replace that code. And likewise. So there. So now we have a fancier way of picking clips. And I'm going to use that to pick cooler, better, do a better job of implementing our clip flare. I'm just going to write a couple of helper functions on both of these. Now, this is some C++ magic here. Actually, give this a better name like count to avoid conflicting with the array size macro that Visual Studio defines. So what this will let me, what that that clever little function will let me do is it'll let me write, you know, Let's make this more interesting. And just say, and it'll auto-detect that this is an array of size 2 and generate the size parameter up in here. So that's a neat trick. Similarly, apply that for the weighted tags. And last of all, and similarly for small vectors, and that's just another little convenience thing. So that'll let me, just get a weighted probability of various clips with whatever tags on them. And now I'm going to use that to build out a better clip layer. So pull that back down. So I'm tempted to just leave this super simple stupid clip layer here, and let's just build it into something better. Not really a lot of reason to leave around the dumb one. Where's the best place to define weighted clip tag? Is animset really the place for it? Yeah, I think so. I don't know why that's a compile error. So to go into the update function, what we're going to do is instead of setting an explicit clip, So this is the case where we will pick a new clip. Oops, sorry, I got myself scrolled off the top of the window here. So in here, we will get a clip ref from actually, if this comes through, then and now here when we go into loop, cycle time is greater than So now when we go to loop, we will re-get it. So like if you had several like idles in there, every time you finish an idle, you would pick a new idle based on a weighted probability. So get clip ref tags and so this will, like if the cycle time is greater than 1, it'll just, you know, say it's 2.5, it'll round that down to 0.5. If it's 1.02, it'll give us 0.02. Just got the fractional thing. I like to define all my animations in terms of, like, do all my animation timings not in terms of number of seconds or number of frames, but just a cycle from 0 at the start of the clip to 1.0 at the end of the clip. A lot of various math just becomes a ton easier when you do things that way, especially like when you're trying to blend 5 clips together and they're not exactly the same length. If you just treat it as, you know, blend them at the same fraction of the way through. When you're scaling animation times up and down, that just it just works easier that way. Let's see, so let's see, is this the right way or should I flip this over? See if it's 10 times long. Yeah, that's right. So what I'm doing with this little bit of math is, if you overshoot the end of a clip, say you are playing one idle that's just like a half second long of just looping here, and then there's a fidget that's 5 seconds long of you scratching your head or something, then when you overshoot the end of the first one, it'll match it up by seconds, not a fraction of the way through. So if you're 102% of the way through the first one, then you'll switch to then you might only be 0.02% of the way through the second one. So yeah, that's oh yeah, we should also actually, if we don't get a new clip, then we don't actually want to do anything, but we do need to set the set that, and I think that'll just give us playing fidgets as you go. So that's there's our code to just have various clips get played in a useful way. If they loop. And I'll end up yoinking a lot of this code out to be part of other things. So, but in the meantime, I need to say, find everything that's referencing that clip. Okay, that's just exploding. So, time-honored tradition, change the name of it, I'll do a compile, everything that was referencing it will give me a syntax error. In the meantime, so there's everything in clip player, who outside of clip player was referencing it. So here was our crash from before, and what we're going to do is idler and that's all. So it's just gonna go in there and look for everything tagged idle, and do its thing. One more thing I should add to Clip Flare to make it a little more robust is oh wait. So yeah, this is also just going to propagate through to plane attacks. So eventually, this place right here is where I'll get more specific on apply client skill information. I'll look at some tags that are in this client skill animation that's coming in, and I will tweak the tags we put in here. And just add some different tags in there, and we'll just pick good animations. But for now, it'll just pick anything in the file that says attack. I'll go back and fix this and do a build, run the game, see what I forgot. Catch up on chat while we do this. So, am I familiar with the Rust language? Familiar-ish. We've been, Rust seems cool. It's not quite ready for development. A team at this scale to take that big a risk on diving in. I think it has potential. We'll see what's going to happen. We just we had to control the number of unknowns and a totally new a less popular language, be that Rust or F# or whatever, as much as they are cool. It's just not where we were going to go if we just needed to run straight forward. And yes, a quick implementation is very much needed in Rust at the moment, so LZ Luke, thank you for doing that. Let's see. Does the animation system adjust feet positions when on uneven ground? So it could. Right now it doesn't. It is modular and pluggable enough that adding in a control for feet positions over uneven ground is a thing we could do. I've got my massive to-do is in here, an LOD control to bone movers, and once I've got the ability to say, hey, only apply this effect when you're up close on someone, then adding in a little bit of IK as a bone mover is a thing we could do. I said thank you. I said thank you for doing a quick implementation for Rust. It is a thing that is needed. So make a good one. All right. So anyway, this is up. Let's see how bad it is.
What was saying I should ask you if abilities are supposed to be working right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm hard crashing the client in main or faster.
So definitely places idle. All of that's working right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go bug Sandra. I'm gonna get Sandra to, because Scott came in early and he left early. I'm gonna get Sandra to give me a couple of little flinches in our sheet,
And mine should be too.
or give me a couple little fidgets in here.
But with client crashes, I can't tell the server's working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, usually I'll run a debug.
They've built out some other stuff. That's pretty cool. So hang on a second. I'll be right back after I talk to Sandra.
I'm running with the debug, with the built server and the built client, whichever being actually a built client. It runs ability.
Okay, so I will try that thing. My custom server off of master with no changes, it hard crash.
Oh.
Okay, so
And then I ran a bit.
yes, we're on stream.
Oh.
Good. But
So when
we're mostly not on stream.
it was fun.
So let's see. Here's our. So here's the master animation sheet, and I'm just looking. So right now I'm playing this animation set. Although I guess I'll take the tag off this and just switch to this one. So all I want to do is like.
Oh, but I also changed the travel stance. It didn't hard crash then. It hard crashed.
And one below this. No, and one below this line.
So maybe it's just purely time based and has nothing to do with it.
So I just want to be like idle fidget, and this one would be like 100. And what do I put here?
Let's see. I think
This is
just
after I do all these first.
the 39
Yes.
fidget. We have two other ones that are two alpha fidget and Viking fidget.
There's no fidget listed in here.
Oh no. Okay. Go to artist. Finalizing chip artist. I can show you the
Okay.
folder we have.
Was the FBX actually added in ever?
Yep. Yeah, it should be on the.
Okay, so if it's in the editor, we can. That's what I really need. So FBX file.
Let's see. Either the keyword would be fidget or showcase item. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Alright.
different character crashing.
Let's see what a good one is. Yeah, I guess any of those are pretty good. Yeah, we have feet fidget and then a look. So whichever you're pretty good.
Well, let's put them all in. Alright, first we need to make an actual clip with that though. Oh wait, we've got a fidget. Hey look!
Oh, sweet! Alright, Scalp put one on.
So, I'll rename this though to fidget look.
The character creation thing? I have no idea how that affects anything.
And... well, actually I don't know the frames, so I'll just stick with that. That has a
Oh yeah, you want the full, like the full frame count that was within the folder, but should we just narrow it down to like where the actual one clip is?
Yeah, we probably don't want to play because that's like you know, that's like a 15-second long.
Yeah.
Do we want a 15-second long fidget? It's cool if we do.
I don't think it was that long.
It's implemented. I don't know if it's ideally the way that it would work.
Well, let's take a look and see how it does.
So like, if you put some, if you
Yeah,
put
we're
something
thinking that.
Well, it's more like when you hit a certain weight. And I think the weight calculation.
But
yeah.
there's a weight and there's
So
a
change this to default, and
I'm not sure. I know there's something.
this will be like a weight of
right. Just cool.
10 instead of so 1 in 10 times we will play
The idea is like heavy on
we'll play fidget instead of idle fidget.
that's
so-
orthogonal to that.
Or we'll play
Lighter on that's that way, you know, so
So.
you could be wearing or carrying nothing but having high.
so save that, and
Yeah, this is more what we have.
tell the build server to build this stuff, and I'll wait briefly for this to show up on the patcher, and then you know, see if it looks how it looks in the client. You can hang out, or you know. Okay.
Is this like the new literature?
This is.
Ooh, excited.
Yeah, I mean, any one of us could take a crack at that.
We gotta wait for
So we definitely, yeah.
that.
So we definitely need
That 549 needs to change because it runs its way through the patcher. So we're probably gonna
Sure. It's just like a crate.
go like little fires to see if we can make the time from when the build finishes to when it shows on the patcher to get as fast as it was, you know, a couple years ago. Because you remember, it was like fast. Like the build would make a change, it'd be like 10 seconds. But
Yeah, there's a lot of traits already, early sample ones that are of that form. They're always on. They change in how intense they are.
I'm just curious, what is the frame count like within the actual file?
put on after the fact.
is that fidget look?
Yeah, that's essentially all traits getting supplied.
But can they do it like at a threshold?
I have no idea.
So you go
A little bit. It's more like they have an
I believe
actual
animation
there,
clips.
just sometimes not actually doing it. They don't tend to actually go away.
And that's fine.
Oh yeah, so
200
200.
or 123 to 322. Okay, so that's what we really want.
Yeah.
All this is
Yeah, I think 400 might have been a little.
A lot of
Fix it
them are
too long.
listeners for other events, and then they put timed things on when certain events trigger, and so that's where some of the complexity comes in. There's also a low priority traits thing on
So now go back here
derived
and say
stats.
build
So
again.
when it comes time to derive stats, making normal stats work correctly. We're probably gonna.
Yeah.
So we can kind of roll in with that if we have to. And
These are all fancy.
And
These are all
now we wait even longer. The first one will probably, yeah. The other one's all on there now, but well, we can take a look at it. So right now it'll play, you know, the whole 442 frame fidget.
Yeah, so Brittany, the card you forwarded me is still fairly scoped to this weight-based